Hello everyone. All right, so this video I'm going to be talking about this conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. So I'm really excited for the 19th coming up of December and just to see, all of this astrology talk, because I do believe that some of it, is very real and it does play a part, an energetic part in our daily lives. So I'm interested in that. Also, the winter solstice on the 21st. So now Jupiter is going to go into Aquarius, right? On December 19th. And then on the winter solstice, December 21st, Saturn is going to jump in. I've been researching this so much, my brain is fried. But we're going to make it through. So Saturn and Jupiter is now in Capricorn, right, today. And it's been this way since last December. So let's get this started. So Aquarius, Jupiter, and Saturn conjunction. These planets are moving closer together. That's what the conjunction is. And it's referred to as the Christmas star. So I'll get into that later on because this was really cool looking into it. So Jupiter and Saturn are two of the largest planets in our solar system. And this whole astrological aspect is a cosmic aspect, okay? And it's happening around the holiday, Christmas, so they call it the Christmas star, and I'll talk more about that later. But on December 19th, Jupiter is going to be leaving Capricorn and it's moving into Aquarius next door. And then on the 21st of December, Saturn is going to join Jupiter in Aquarius. So we've been putting up with this Capricorn and Jupiter energy since December 2nd, okay? Jupiter has been in Capricorn since December 2nd, 2019. And on the 19th or the 20th, depending on your location, you'll feel the shift of this Jupiter energy, this prosperous energy, not being so restricted in an earth sign of Capricorn and also with Sagittarius and moving into Aquarius. So the negative meaning of Jupiter in Capricorn aspect is that someone can fall victim to or just be influenced by power, right? Or someone can attempt to get more power, right? So that's what it says. And just kind of like a foolish faith into believing in someone or just trying to get too much power. And just also, it warns against throwing away your power as well. So then that's like chaotic energy, right? And just observing that or being a part of that. It's like that influence. Now the positive part, because I've heard like so many negative things about Capricorn, and Capricorn are like hardworking, and every sign has its own kind of, thing. So I feel, I was like, oh man, but even though I'm not an earth sign, I still understand the realistic energy of Capricorn. But this has been like very overbearing type of energy as far as restrictions. And then there's a positive of it that we're seeing what it is. Everything's like center stage, right? So the positive aspect is that this is like a powerful movement, a powerful energy, right? It's more realistic. It's looking at realistic steps. Even if you weren't really, you're just like saying, hey, why can't this be this way? Well, Jupiter in Capricorn is going to try to make things more realistic and have you move towards it, right? That Jupiter energy is pushing it towards it. And the Capricorn energy is very much structure earth, right? So it's just realistic steps towards a better structure is the positive aspect of it. And it's like a way of you leveling up and growing, right? Moving to the next step, right? with this Jupiter energy, because Jupiter was previously in Sagittarius. So the teaching behind it is that whatever you learn when Jupiter was in Sagittarius, you're going to take that into Capricorn, and then when it's in Aquarius, now you've learned all that you've learned. So it's just moving that energy up, right? And learning what you learned while Jupiter was in Sagittarius was the need for education and knowledge, okay? And everything that Sagittarius qualities are, especially the knowledge, okay? You're going to take the knowledge that you have while Jupiter was in Sagittarius and apply it in Capricorn, right? So that's like the positive aspect. And that's why I like the teaching or the concept about we all have like the 12 signs within us, because then we can really benefit from really studying the characteristics of all the 12 signs. So even though these two planets aren't stars, it's going to be shining really bright. We're going to be able to see it at twilight. So this is like seeing it an hour before sunset, an hour after sunset, right? So on December 19th, Jupiter will leave its struggle in Capricorn, and it will be in the more futuristic energy of air sign Aquarius. So this is like the big change, is that it's moving from an earth sign, right, into that earth energy into an air sign. And before it was always happening in an earth sign, and before that it was always happening in a fire sign, and before that I believe it was always happening in a water sign. It's like a lot, right? A lot. I was like looking into this. It's pretty cool. So this is the start of a new age or a new era, and these planets only meet up about 20 years or so. So December 2020 is going to mark this new energy of Sagittarius and Jupiter aligning in Aquarius, which is an air sign. And this is going to really just signify really that it's happening in air signs from now on, and then how we communicate, interact with each other, that now that it's in an air sign. So there's positive, to me, there's positive and negative towards this, because air signs, it's like you want to be free and, do what you want to do, and working with Jupiter, that's going to be great. And Saturn's going to bring structure to it, but there's going to be more freedom, is the way I interpret it, right? Because astrology is not like, there is some kind of concrete things in a sense, but then we have to see how it all works out, right? So Aquarius is an air sign that has a lot of emotions, right? They're in tune with their emotions, but they can change very quickly, right? So I can see Saturn given its structure. I can see Jupiter saying, okay, let's make this good, in a sense, right? Now, there's always going to be some kind of drama or shakeup, I like to say. That's, oh, I haven't been recording. No. Am I recording? Yes, I am. Okay. I thought I wasn't recording. I was like, no, I'm not recording. No. Okay, crazy. All right, so I am recording. Okay, so there's always going to be some kind of shakeup. So it doesn't mean that everything is going to be easy, because, sometimes when people say, oh, this is a new shift. This is the lingo we use, like a shift, a big change, right? It's not all beautiful. There's always going to be negative. So I look at this as another big shakeup, but it's going to change, hopefully, things that is just restrictive. And when I'm looking at this, I don't want to say anything negative about any signs, because all the signs have something negative and positive in it. Okay, so let's get back on this. So this alignment is going to end a 200-year era of Jupiter and Sagittarius uniting in Earth signs, like I said before. And the last conjunction occurred in an Earth sign of Taurus on May 28th, 2000. So, I was into astrology back then, but I wasn't so big into it. So just to like wrap our minds around it and think, okay, 2000 to 2020, that's like 20 years. That's a lot that has happened, right? So I'm just like trying to piece 2000 to 2005, 2005 to 2010, right? 2010 to 2015, 2015 to 2020. So kind of like I'm just like breaking it down in fives and just thinking about it that way, right? So something else that I wrote up, Jupiter writes the law. This is things that is said about these planets, right? And then Saturn enforces it, right? So you're thinking about where we are right now with this Capricorn energy, an earth sign, about structure, order, businesses, corporations, right? And Jupiter is like, hey, I want things to expand. I want things to grow. I want everyone to have good luck. And then Saturn is like, well, I want to have some kind of restrictions. So the Saturn angle can be very negative, but it also can be positive. They're both positive signs. They just get to things a different way, right? So Jupiter has no room to grow in a positive way in the earth sign of Capricorn, which can be restrictive, right? And it can be critical, right? In its structure and it's being enforced by Saturn. And Jupiter knows that you don't need to be perfect to win or to be happy, right? So everyone with a Virgo moon, you want things to be perfect. You want to communicate it right. Another earth sign, you want things to just be perfect, but nothing is going to be perfect. It's just, you just got to let it flow, right? And Capricorn and Saturn, while they're great at structure, which is very important, they can tend to overthink things. They can be unnecessary judgmental. They can be power hungry. So we're experiencing kind of that, right? And Jupiter and Saturn are both conservative and practical, energetic planets in their own way. So Jupiter will make you succeed, but it does require you to have focus, right? Where Saturn, I like to think of it as, it will give you restrictions and you have to jump over these hurdles, and it'll be like a rougher, tougher teacher, right? But some people do their Saturn rough and tough teacher wrong, right? And they're just no good. But then if you have a Saturn teacher that cares but has structure, that's like the highest level of Saturn to me, is a teacher that has that. That's not like a jerk, but that they love and care for you, but they just want to make sure that you can actually do it yourself, right? So Saturn and Jupiter are both conservative, both practical in their own way. It's just that Saturn has more hurdles to jump over, where Jupiter is like, this is how you do it. Do it, show me that you know how to do it, and then boom, you go. People have different learning styles. So that's how I like to interpret it for myself, So they both succeed, but they do it in their different ways of getting there. Right? So the earth sign energy is resistant to change. And I can see Saturn being more, or Taurus being more like an earth type of home is important to them. What I possess is important to me, and that's good. But some people can take that to a negative, obsessive area. So some Taurus can be, the Taurus energy is my home, what I possess. Okay, even if they don't own it, and then you say, hey, this is your side and this is my side and whatever, and God forbid something is over a little bit in their side, they move it like extremely over to the other side. It's too possessive, right? So that could be the negative. And the positive could be just making the home comfortable, nice, organized in their own way. Some can be messy. It all depends on what's their aspect. But it highlights the territorialness in the negative sense. So we, over from 2000 to 2020, what's that kind of experience right there? Very territorial, right? So the earth energy is resistant to change. The air energy will be more like strong, right? And it will disrupt anything that is old belief, old ways, and old way of communicating, any outdated way of communicating, any kind of oppressive way. The air sign might be quiet for a while, but then the air sign will be like, no, I need room. It's like, I gotta go. So that's going to be the shifting from that can be, bumpy, right? So then for me, I was like breaking it down and thinking like, okay, there's no really clear kind of definition of, and I like to look back to the past to look to the present and the future, right? Because then you're actually learning something. So looking at Saturn in Taurus, it brings up questions about how well are we secure? Like, do you feel safe? Are you secure? So it's going to bring up these questions of your safety, right? Are you safe? What's your security like? Right? Security as a whole, like wherever you want to throw that, right? So are we comfortable? Right? So the energy that we're putting out as a collective, then is there comfort from that, or is it just depleted? So that Taurus energy, that Saturn in Taurus will look at that, right? Do we have enough money? That's what Saturn in Taurus is said to have us kind of ponder, reflect on. Jupiter in Taurus is more is too cautious, right? Can be too cautious or a little bit cautious, right? And not wanting to take any kind of big risk with anything that you want to do. The Jupiter is exalted, I believe, in Taurus. So it's good. It's not falling, right? It's not being depleted. So it's good. It will do a secure way of succeeding. Like it will want you to be more patient, but you have to be determined. And I feel like that's the Jupiter energy, being determined. But the Taurus energy can be patient and be very patient, but it's showing you how to get things done over time, right? So it's like, okay, this is how you're going to succeed, but you have to take the steps. And then the best thing to do is really invest in your home. So make sure that you have enough money and you're saving up ahead of time, right? So if you're watching like everything that's happening outside of your home and also what you intuitively know, you would see people that do well would be investing in like, say, real estate, home, or the security of themselves, like keeping themselves secure. So say looking at 2020 right now, right? So say that, and I've known a couple of people that done that, where they felt like intuitively, I need to move from kind of a city area and move into the country or something. So if you got hit with a feeling, hey, 5 years ago, like, hey, I really want to make a move, right? So this would have been maybe 2015, right? Even 2014, 2015, where you'd make a move. Now you're kind of like, I'm happy I made that move, right? It could have been like a good change. Okay. So now, I could be right, could be wrong, but together the Saturn and Jupiter energy in Taurus, right, looking to the past, was to teach us how to grow up, right? And then to look at what affects our home. And that's a big topic right there. What affects your home? And then you're going to make the right corrections, and you don't have to rush it. It's like over time, and it's not aggressive. It's more nurturing, right? And so again, that's it teaches you to grow up. That's Saturn and Jupiter in Taurus. It's supposed to teach you to look at what affects your home, what your boundaries are, how you use your intelligence, right? how you grow in adversity, and see what is really happening and be mature about it. And you're going to do this in order to make a positive change and make there be like balance in that change. So it wouldn't have been easy. It would have been a buildup of these questionings. Every now and then there was these little questionings of, hey, this isn't right. This is, and negative things are always going to happen, but there's going to be sparks of positivity within that, like questioning, right? So there's a big buildup of that. And Jupiter wants to expand. So I can see the expanding and the restriction in, say, like the internet, like back in like 2007, we saw a rise in more communication as far as, people really wanted to expand as far as the internet and the communication. And I could see that kind of have a Saturn energy and a Jupiter energy sprinkled in there. Right? So we're going to get to that. So at the conclusion of this conjunction, right, we will see a balance between law and science, right? Jupiter is associated with like biology, science, healing, good fortune. So we know about, prosperity and all of that, especially if you study yoga, and especially say Kundalini yoga or any kind of yoga, mudra yoga, you'll know about the planets and the five and your fingers and your thumb, right? So you'll know about the correlations with that and your Jupiter finger and, projecting that energy into different mudras. So you'll know the science of it. You'll know the prosperity of it. Now, Saturn is dealing with machine industry, steel, laborers, workers, and the power of Saturn to change a worker or a laborer, someone that works with machines or say computers or, machinery, and turn them into a doctor. So it might not, like how dreams aren't straight, right? They'll be opposites, right? But so will the astrology. You have to look at something and say, hey, this person was working in this area, but then now they're in the science area. So it doesn't mean that it's always good for the patient, right? So if someone switches work, are they doing it because they really care, or are they doing it because there's money to be made? So, you'll see that change. It could be great for that person and it could be great for everyone, but then it doesn't always have to be. So it's just noticing the switch, right? So December 21st is the winter solstice. And on the 21st, Saturn is going to join Jupiter in Aquarius, my understanding. So this is going to be a very close union, right? And even though this conjunction happens every 20 or so years, this one's going to be particularly like very close, okay? And I kind of missed that. Let's see. I think the last time that happened was where the planets were this close, and I didn't even mention that. So this Saturn and Jupiter conjunction is really close, and the last time it was this close I've seen from my research was like March 4th, 1226, and I could be wrong, but like it's just they've been close, but it hasn't been this close before. And the closeness of this conjunction, right, is that the planets are typically 0 degrees from each other, right? So it's a good aspect when it's a conjunction. That means that there's a union and there's an energy binding. So what is the best quality, I like to think, of Saturn? And what's the best quality of Jupiter? Because they're both practical, right? So I like that word of, practical. So, you're going to see, okay, where do we both agree? And then how can that way of thinking be as close to a balance as it can be. They're not touching. That's not going to be good. But to have some form of union or some kind of energy where things can be more for balance, really. Not so intense, right? So between, I guess, tonight when I upload this on the 16th and to the 24th, 25th, we can see, like, since I've been walking, I've been seeing Jupiter and Saturn, right? But I guess it's going to be brighter in the western sky now. So we'll be able to see it at twilight. So 1 hour before the sun goes down and then 1 hour before the sun comes up, we'll be able to see it. So it kind of made me think about like the Christmas star. So get into the Christmas star. So in the Bible, if you read the Bible, which I've been starting to read it like from front to back now, is that, and just to read it to, look at it, that's a whole other story. But they do reference astrology in the Bible. So I've been watching like different documentary over the years, but recently, always at Christmas time, it's like always fun to just kind of watch, right? Around December time. There's always a debate because in the Bible it never listed exact birthday, but if you Google, right, no one getting their feelings in this, but if you Google what star was shining bright at Jesus' birth, right, it says in Matthew, it says the sun, the moon, Jupiter, and Saturn was in Aries 6 BC. So in the storytelling, this conjunction would have happened after the birth of baby Jesus, right? So you can think of the Saturn and Jupiter. They're not a star. It's an aspect, and because they're so close, it's shining bright. And it is. I was going to mention something else, but it was going to go off track about the crown and the astrological alignment of the planets. But so the storytelling is kind of like. This is like a guiding light or a guiding alignment, right? For the three wise men, when you think of that. And it would have happened after. So a lot of people are saying, okay, well, to have his energy of presence and to get things done, it's like a little bit of a Leo and a little bit of a Virgo, right? So the Virgos are like, he's a Virgo. And the Leos are like, no, he's a Leo. So if he was born in the cusp, like in August, right? Then it would make sense of that charismatic or that kind of presence energy, right? Of caring. It's like Virgo, the mother, and then Leo, if they really care about you, they'll fight for you. Same as Virgo, right? So it's that kind of caring energy. So, yeah, I just thought that was pretty cool. So December 19th, 20th, and 21st is a Sagittarius. And then December 21st or 22nd is the start of Capricorn. So every year is a little, shift, right? Because we're supposed to have 13 months, if we will, 13 moons, right? But we have 12. So basically, whole other story. So basically, this year, Capricorn season starts December 22nd, okay? So I'd like to think that anyone that's being born August 21st till December 25th would be a special energy child. Like, I just think it would be pretty cool. That's just me talking to myself, but I've seen a lot of things saying that, people born either December 19th to December 25th is going to be, have a very important life, if you will, right? Very influential people, or a person. Everyone's born with a purpose, but just one that is very highlighted. So yeah, that's all I got. So that's what I was looking up, but I'm really interested in powerful meditations and affirmations and all that mojo stuff for the 19th, when Jupiter goes into Aquarius. So I would look into Aquarius and say, what are the positive aspects of Aquarius, right? It's future thinking because I can go off on a tangent and just talk about all the cool stuff that we should have already created already. And the amount of collective work that everyone has done or is doing, that we should have a better healthcare and everyone should kind of be their own little doctor, right? I was watching this talk about tarot, right? And when you get a tarot reading, you don't have to be a psychic, right? You can be intuitive, like everyone's intuitive, but to get the best tarot reading, you tell the person, hey, this is the issue, right? When I do a reading, I say, okay, tell me nothing, let me pull the cards and then see what I pull up, right? And connection to divine, I can feel the energy of whoever is walking with them when they come in. And I'm just like reading, like if it's over the phone, at an event, a friend, whatever, right? So it's right there because I believe that everyone has someone with them, their spirit guides, their ancestors, whatever. So I'm reading it and then they're like, hey, that's it, right? So I said, don't tell me anything. Yeah, that's it. And then I said, if it's going this is going well, and which it does, and I hit it on the mark, then tell me more, and then we'll be able to interpret the cards. And then I like to do that. I think it's kind of a way of proving that, yeah, the tarot does work, but I don't like to prove anything to anyone because I'm like, if you don't believe it, then it's like, whatever, go away. Why are you here? And then another way of reading cards is saying, hey, tell me what's going on. And then they'll tell you what's going on and then you can narrow it down. Well, another card reader said, if you go to a doctor's appointment, you're going to tell the doctor to guess what's wrong with you, or you're going to say, this is what's wrong, so you can narrow it down, right? So when you get in a tarot reading, it's good to say what's going on, and then you can interpret the cards better rather than taking a long, flipping time to get to the point. So back to healthcare, it's like a mind of really understanding your body, knowing what's going on, a future way of thinking. It's like just thinking Jupiter in Aquarius. I'm hoping that it will just have most of us evolved spiritually, because it's not going to happen to everyone. That's not realistic, but just enough people that are positive minded, that have good intention, that is realistic. Just to kind of vibe on that change. So that's it. That's all I got. So I hope you guys enjoy this reading. So happy winter solstice. What is it? December 25th, the sun will rise more and more in the sky into spring, into summer. So it's like the rebirth of the sun. The sun hits its lowest point, I believe, on the 21st. I have to look it up. I haven't. I know I talked about it last December. I think every December we kind of talk about that, right? It's like the sun is the lowest it is in the horizon, and then the sun reborns again on December 25th, right? So leave your comments, good comments, questions, thoughts, comments to share that helps everyone in a nice way, and I'll definitely let the comments be posted. So that's it. That's all I got. All right, guys. I hope that everyone enjoys their walk outside or wherever you are, if you can see it. If where you live isn't blocking your view, that's one of the things in towns and cities that I don't like, is when it blocks the view. I really like less construction and more nature, even though I do enjoy city and so on, but I just don't like, it's just too much, right? Too much building. All right. So that's it. That's all I got. All right. Peace.